Hey, welcome back to Spellbound. I'm BEEJ and this is my Spooky September TBR. So I have a pretty fun collection of 8 thrillers and horrors that I really want to get to in September. I am aware that TBRs are almost futile at this point because it just doesn't matter. I am a mood reader at heart, and so I'm just going to read whatever the Sam Hill I feel like at that moment. That being said, these are ones that I really want to get to. These are ones that I'm really hoping that will cross my path during the month of September, because obviously I'm into spooky, scary thrillers and horrors all throughout the year. I'm into spooky things in general. I am the spooky friend in the friend group. You know what I mean? So let's get started. So this first one has been on my list for a while. It's been on my physical TBR for a while, and I want to see it because this author is polarizing. I haven't ever seen someone who loves this author in the way that I do, for the same reasons that I do, except on my Norway trip. I made like a bookish kindred spirit. Everything that I've loved and enjoyed, she also did, that we talked about. And so we also hated the same things for the same reason, and it was so much fun to meet her. Shout out Sasha. And so anyways, Christina Henry is a polarizing author. I have seen a couple of people enjoy her books. None have really loved her books, like I said, like the way that I really loved Lost Boy, and the way that Sasha did as well. But I also really liked The Ghost Tree. I did not like Mermaid, nor did anyone that I know. Alice seems to be kind of polarizing, and honestly, not a lot of people like it. And I want to know why they don't like it. I finally want to satisfy this curiosity. I have so many books by her on my shelf. I feel like I'm going to love it. I love a retelling. I love a fairy tale retelling. I love a literature retelling when it is done in a unique perspective, and usually that means dark and violent. So especially with Christina Henry, that means dark and violent, which is, I think, why we get along so well. It looks like it's about a woman who escapes a mental hospital with this woman who's plagued with memories that she doesn't know are real or a figment of her imagination, but something dark escapes with her. Yeah, I'm invested. I want to know. I have this, I have the sequel, and I have so many more by her that are on my list. So Alice by Christina Henry. Next is The Turnglass by Gareth Rubin. This book sounds interesting because of the storytelling. So this book is described as an immersive crime novel, 2 intertwined tales printed back to back. At the book's core are separate mysteries running across different timelines that are inextricably and forever linked. From the beginning to halfway through is one story that takes place in 1881 in Essex. And then if you flip the book over head to tail, you read the second story in the opposite direction. Then the second story is in LA in 1939. So it's crime, and it's crime noir, which is like not usually my jam, honestly, but the storytelling of this, yes, I want it, because you can either read them back to back, like the first story, and then flip it over and read the second story and like piece it together that way, or you can read it one chapter at a time like this. And I don't even know which one I want to read that way. Like, I'm just like, I can't wait to see if this is well executed. I can't wait to see how this plays out. I don't even care about the story of it as much as I care, is it told well, you know? So by the end of this, I'll care about the story 100%, and I'll be able to talk to you about it, because for most books, but especially thrillers and horrors, I prefer to know as little as possible going in. Here's another clue about me. I'm anxious and antsy to read that book and this next book because they are both in hardcover. As a rule, I don't buy thrillers or horrors in hardcover. For a thriller or horror, you want that floppy paperback. You want it because I'm gonna tear that book up. I want it to go with me when I go places. It is a portable piece of entertainment, and it is almost always entertainment, even if it's critically acclaimed and a masterpiece in my opinion, like Hide by Kirsten White was from last year. I want it to go with me. It's not going to sit on my shelf to look pretty. It is with me until I read it, you know? And then it's a trophy at that point. So my point is, I'm pretty comfortable waiting until thrillers and horrors come out on paperback before I purchase them. So like when I go do my loop in Barnes & Noble and I take my, take a turn around the store, I have a route that I take. I will take pictures of the thrillers and horrors that I'm interested in and from the new releases, but I generally don't buy them until they come out in paperback. But I didn't want to take the chance with the Turnglass by seeing if it comes out in paperback, if it's going to be printed the same way. I don't know how they're going to accomplish that. And then the other one, I was literally so excited to get it, I couldn't wait, because that's how antsy I was about this book. So that tells you how excited I am for The Hitchcock Hotel by Stephanie Roble. Okay, Alfred Smedel is not your average Hitchcock fan. He is the founder, owner, and manager of the Hitchcock Hotel, a sprawling Victorian house in the White Mountains dedicated to the master of suspense. There, Alfred offers his guests round-the-clock film screenings, movie props, and memorabilia in every room, plus an aviary with 50 crows. To celebrate the hotel's first anniversary, he invites his former best friends from his college film club for a reunion. He hasn't spoken to any of them in 16 years, not after what happened. But who better than they to appreciate Alfred's creation and to help him finish it? After all, no Hitchcock set is complete without a body. Okay, so I am a self-proclaimed Hitchcock fanatic. So growing up, John Hughes is where I fell in love with film and film as a medium for storytelling. But Hitchcock is where I learned to appreciate the art of film and filmmaking. I love Hitchcock films. Rear Window is one of my favorite movies and stories of all time. I just have such a special place in my heart for Hitchcock. And so what I'm hoping this story is an homage to Hitchcock, and I hope that there are so many Hitchcock Easter eggs in this story. That's what I'm looking for from this book. Like, yes, I want a spooky thriller good time, and I want it to be suspenseful, but like, I want the Hitchcock plugs. Right, that's what I want. Next is A Touch of Jen by Beth Morgan. This has been on my list for a couple of years now, and it's about these two girls, these two besties, who their strongest commonality in their friendship is their mutual obsession over this woman named Jen, who's just like, I think she's an influencer. They just are obsessed with Jen. They know all of her Instagram captions, they know what filters she uses, they know like everything about her life, and then bizarrely, they run into her one day and Jen invites them both on like a weekend getaway to the Hamptons. And it's about them both, I think, competing to be in her social circle. It sounds like things get really crazy from there. But what really strikes me is that it says part millennial social comedy, part psychedelic horror, all wildly entertaining. A Touch of Jen is a sly, unflinching examination of the hidden drives that lurk just outside the frame of our carefully curated selves. Yes. Thank you. As long as it doesn't end up feeling like a Black Mirror episode, I'm okay. I don't need social commentary on social media, okay, thanks. But I do want a fun time. I do want an entertaining horror. Yes, thank you. No, this is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, and I love Grady Hendrix. Let me just get all these books out of frame for a second. Love Grady Hendrix. I have read a few books by him at this point. He's just so much fun. He's so much fun. I have wanted to read it for a while, but I've also kind of been nervous too a little bit because this book, I imagine, if it reads similar to my best friend's Exorcism, is going to be some subtext to it. There's going to be some underlying relationships at play. I'm interested because this is about a brother-sister dynamic, and you really don't come across those a lot, and you especially don't come across those a lot that are done well. And I'm very particular about a brother-sister dynamic when it's done well, because I have a great, I assume, he's never told me otherwise, relationship with my brother. Like, I'm always a sucker for like a brother-sister reconciliation, for a brother-sister like you and me against the world kind of thing. And I think that's what this might be. And so my point is I'm intimidated by it because I know it might like hit me in the feels, and I don't love sad books, you know, so I don't want it to make me emotional. It takes place in Charleston, which is where one of the places where we grew up. This just feels like it's going to hit really close to home, and I'm nervous about that, but also very excited for the same reason. Grady Hendrix's take on the haunted house in a thrilling novel that explores the way your past and your family can haunt you like nothing else. I mean, the premise I think is very simple. It's just Louise, when her parents dies, she has to go back to their family home in Charleston and go through the house and get it ready to sell, but the house doesn't want to be sold. I'm here for it. I am excited. I'm nervous. It's Grady Hendrix though, so I know that I'm going to love it. This girl's a killer. Ask Cordelia Black why she did it, and the answer will always be, he had it coming. Honestly, if I knew nothing else about this book, that would be enough, because I love a revenge story. I just talked about revenge. I talk about revenge almost every video. I love a revenge plot. This is by Emma C. Wells, by the way. I didn't mention that. Give the author her credit. It's a serial killer novel, but it sounds like so far, it is meeting my requirements of a serial killer novel in that there's a moral code, there's revenge and vendettas at play, and she's not like a psycho. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. Have you read this one? Let me know. Am I gonna like it? We'll see. Youthjuice by E.K. either Setu or Sethu. I'm interested in a lot of these that are all on that kind of women's rights and women's wrongs tables, the kind of surrealist, feminist, violent horror that's coming out right now. I'm like, I can't eat it up fast enough. And so this one sounds similar to Rouge by Mona Awad, or at least they feel like they're in a similar boat where it's clearly commentary on the obsession with youth and influencer culture and beauty culture and that kind of thing. So it sounds like our main character basically just joins an MLM for skincare, but there's like some fucked up ingredient in the skincare. That's why it's so mega popular, and that's why it's so good at what it does. So I don't need to know any more than that. That's what I want. If this book is social commentary on the beauty industry and on our collective obsession with looking young, I want it. I want to eat it with a spoon. I saw a meme basically that just said, aging isn't half as scary as our collective obsession with staying young has become. And then the comment under the meme was, yeah, that's what Dorian Gray was about. And I think collectively, our fear of aging is a root concern here that I'm interested by. And I'm interested in exploring that. Why is it that we are afraid to age in a way that we're not necessarily afraid to die? I'm just fascinated by that as a concept, but not from a place of moral judgment. And I feel like there's not a place for that in the current discourse, right? Of like, how can we investigate what it is that we're actually afraid of and why, without it coming across as some sort of moral judgment. This is totally my book. It also is totally my vibe, which is like very pink and feminine with like a raging violent undertone. And finally, Mr. Magic by Kiersten White. Hide by Kiersten White was my favorite book of last year. I said it a million times last year. It was so good. I loved that book. Okay, loved it so much. And this is her newest book. It's about a former children's TV show that had a tragic ending back in the day. And now, 30 years later? Yeah, 30 years later, the child stars who survived it have gotten together, reunite and uncover the tragedy that ended their show, and discover the secret of its enigmatic host. So this says it's a dark supernatural thriller. I'm hoping that it also moves into horror. I don't know where that line is, to be honest, but I love to toe it. I don't know if I can say I love Kiersten White yet because I've only read one book, but I sure do fucking love that book. And so I'm hoping that this matches the level A of obsession that I have for her previous, but also I hope that it matches the commentary that the previous book had. Kiersten White, a master of complicated darkness, sums up the candy-colored nostalgia that so many of us feel for our childhood entertainment. And I think this coming on the heels of, it's been a couple years, but still, these documentaries that we have on like child stars and the abuse of child stars and entertainment from like our nostalgic days of Nickelodeon and even Disney Channel, and knowing what some of these children went through, I think there's so much that we know now that we didn't. How now can we revisit that nostalgia without feeling those feelings, And I think that that's something that a lot of millennials are trying to grapple with right now. I hope that it's social commentary in that vein. I hope that she has some stuff to say, and we'll see. So those were 8 spooky books that I'm looking forward to reading this September. I can't even wait. I really hope that I get to these. And I say that as if I'm not me. I say that as if I am not in charge of me and my own reading. I am the boss of me. And yet, I don't know. I don't know what future me is going to want to do. I can't control her. But I hope that future BJ will be where present BJ is and will want to read all of these books because I'm so about them right now. What about you? What is on your TBR? What are you wanting to pick up this fall or this pre-fall? September's fall, so what are you looking forward to? And in the meantime, stay safe, stay spooky, and happy reading.